Good morning to folks in America and good afternoon to those in Europe and Africa. I'm dreaming that big, if I may. So do. My apologies for coming in a little bit late. I actually didn't come in a little bit late. What happened was I went to broadcast live on D Israel rather than coming live on Doinsola Lori wall on Doinsola Lori's wall. My apologies for that. Um, My name remains Doyin Lori, and like I've always said, I represent D Israel. I thank you once again for joining me today, Wednesday, June 8, year 2016. There is a very interesting topic that I have to discuss today. But before I go into that topic, I'm going to, not gloatingly, but sincerely, gratefully, mention something about me. And that's the fact that I am thankful to God for the fact that I do not lack admirers. And I'm talking about male admirers. I'm sure some of you are like, doing, you have started again. Just cut it off. You too, they brag, blah, blah, blah. Sincerely, it's not a function of me bragging. It's what I have heard in the past few days that made me to want to discuss this topic. I've discussed with many people, and they have said to me, Wale Oladipo, hi, and how are you? Thank you for joining me this morning. Bossy, thank you for joining, and Nkechi, I appreciate you all. Now, the reason why I say that is not because I want to brag or I want to sing or sound anyhow. No. I heard that there are actually men and women that in 1, 2, 3, believe me, up to 4, 5 years, they have not as much as had any man say hi to them. Hi, how are you? You know what I mean by hi. I mean, it's the person that even says hi to you, that wants to use you as a fling, that can think of having a relationship with you or developing even anything. There are some people like that, that they just exist. No man has looked at them to say, how are you? What are you selling? In quote. That was stunning to me, was shocking. And after a while, after a while, when the element of shock, like wore off, I said, Lord, I thank you. So if you are in a situation that, even if it's a carpenter that is saying, hi, how are you? Be thankful to God. Because I have heard, like I said, that some are just not even being looked at all. Having said that, I mean, if we have a situation, and this is not a female thing, the man is able to cope with it. There are also men that they really have not been able to have any nice looking, serious, whatever female to speak to. But you see, they are able to go to brothels and pay for sex. So somehow they are able to live their life and make it seem like they are okay. Even when in truth they are not okay. Somehow they are able to get away with that. Good luck to them. I mean, let me say they are the lucky one. This morning I have a story. It's a true life story that I'm going to run before we go into what is the core thing that I want to talk about today. What's this story? There's this woman. She was a doctor at that point in time. She's now a professor at the university. She had 3 girls in a prior marriage, and when that marriage broke down, for years she had nobody. I was told that maybe one of the junior staff or something in her department was just the one that was always coming to the office to help her out sexually. She was that much suffering. So along the line, she met this semi-illiterate Alaji, and I don't know who wanted to marry who, but at least they got into marriage. The arrangement was that the Alaji would come to her house on Friday evening and leave on Monday morning. The Alhaji had 2 other wives. Those ones were in the man's house. So the man would come on Friday evening to this woman's house and leave on Monday morning. Remember I said this woman had 3 kids proud. Guess what this Alhaji did after? For no reason that I know of, one of the girls that was involved told me this story. So it's not a story that I heard from some other party. The girl that was involved told this to one of the 3 girls. She said her mother, because she did not want to lose this Alhaji, would lock them up in a room from Friday evening to Monday morning. I don't know if that sank into anybody's head. This woman, a mother, is like me now doing solar, locking up my boy and 2 girls in a room from Friday evening to Monday morning because of a man. I don't want him to go. Therefore, and he doesn't like my children. So I asked her, I said, wait a minute, how are you people eating? Chike, thank you. Yes, leave my dada alone. So I said, so how are you people eating? She said she would open the door and throw in their food, like serve them about twice a day. And they were warned, thank you, Ife, thank you for liking my hair. And they were warned to not as much as let their voices be heard. The man just didn't want to hear their voices in the house. And the woman did, and this went on for years. She gave them a bucket that they used to urinate, so they would pee in the bucket. I said, what if you wanted to poopy? She said she would come out dead in the night, about 2-3 a.m., and would sneak them into the bathroom to do the big job. I'm telling you, this went on for years. A mother, not a stepmother, because of a man. Because she couldn't imagine that the man left. And she treated her children like that for years. Now, I'm thinking about something. You know, I gave a background story of how some people have not even had anybody say hello to them in years. And it got me thinking that, wait a minute. Okay, are we saying, I mean, on a good day, the average man or the average woman would do things to truly, truly, truly hold a good relationship. The guy may feel, or maybe the person complains, look, you have a big tummy, I don't like it. And definitely the guy hits the gene, I must impress my woman. We all do these things. We do things to make the man or the woman around us happy. But the length that person is gone to retain that man is the key thing for me today. As a single parent, male or female, the person you have married, suddenly after marriage, develops this hatred for your children. It's okay to say, oh, I don't like your style, and then you change for that person. I don't like your size. You do some exercises, or you even as much as go under the knife, take some painful injections just to make that person happy. I understand all of that. But after marriage, the man suddenly, like that woman that I just told her story, can't tolerate your children. Or the woman now suddenly just sees your kids as our worst enemy. What would you do? How would you handle that? You all leave my hairstyle alone and talk about this thing. You are in a relationship. Your partner can't tolerate your children from a prior marriage or relationship. You're already there and suddenly wants them out of your life. I mean, how do you handle that? What do you do? This is something that we discussed at group level. And some were like, the children should understand this is my life. But I have even created a worst case scenario that, okay, you haven't even had anybody talk to you in 4 or 5 years. So for the first time in that time, somebody is showing you some love. How would you do it? Anjorin Shegun, let me just paraphrase basically what I have said, since you just joined, like you said. You are a single parent and then you marry someone and suddenly the man or the woman can't tolerate your children. And I told the story of a woman that the man she married couldn't tolerate 3 of her children from a previous marriage, and she would lock those kids up from Friday evening till Monday morning. She had a bucket for them to urinate, to do their urinating, and would sleep out at night to take them to the bathroom to do the main job. She slipped food to them into the room, and they were not supposed to be heard because the man just couldn't tolerate that. He didn't want to hear their voices. And this woman, because she's not had a man for years and suddenly had this semi-illiterate or whatever husband she thought that person was, just did that to her children. And that's an extreme case of retaining or wanting to retain somebody in your life. What would you do if you find yourself in that situation? You're already married, you're already into that, and then suddenly the man or the woman just picks on your kid as the, what we Yorubas call orogun, how would you handle it? Thank you all for joining me, and that's what is on the menu today. How would you handle that kind of a thing? Would you sacrifice your children like the woman did on the altar of having a man? Or what are the other options you would look at? What would you do if that you find yourself in that kind of situation? You're already in the marriage. Are you going to say, to hell, you know what you need to get? I'm getting out of it. But again, don't forget I said earlier that you have been alone for years. And this is the first person, perhaps in 5 years, that as much as gave you that kind of attention. What would you do? Best Born, they were friends. They were together. Best Born is asking that my story is weird because he's wondering that weren't they aware of each other's status before marriage? I'm telling you, they were aware. The man just suddenly hated those children after they married. It wasn't like he didn't know them. He knew the woman had other children. He came to the house and he saw the children. But just after he married the woman, he just couldn't tolerate them again, and he went on and on about not wanting to see them. There was nowhere to go put those kids. I mean, she didn't have any cousin's place or something that she could send them to. So it wasn't like he wasn't aware. I think he just got selfish or whatever, and he acted the way he did. Chike says, you can't abandon your kids for any man. No matter what the relationship means to you, you have no one to lean on anymore since the home is already broken. What the woman did was wrong. Though I have, let me see, though I have no right to judge her. Well, I don't think it's a function of judging her, because that was a story that truly shocked me too. Because I didn't think that any woman would think to throw her children out, I mean, just on the altar of satisfying another man. Interestingly, she had 3 boys for this man that I'm talking about before he died. She had 3 boys for the man. She had 6 girls for the first man, and had 3 boys for this other man. So what would you do? You're already married to the person, and suddenly he or she just can't tolerate your children. What would you do? Would you continue with the marriage or relationship, or would you call it off? Join me please to state your views, and bear in mind, like I said, that here you have not had anything or anyone in a long while. You haven't had any relationship. You haven't. I'm actually painting an extremely bad situation, so that we want to look at. I don't want to make it seem like you had other options. You don't have any other option, and your kids are on one side, the man is on the other side. What would you do in that situation? Or your kids are on this side and the woman is on the other side. What would you do in a situation that the person in your second or third marriage cannot tolerate your children? Ojo Olatunde, how are you? Thank you for joining. What would you do if you find yourself in that situation? Let's have your comments, guys. Thank you all for joining me again today. As always, I appreciate you coming online to be with me. What would you do if you find yourself in that situation? What's the topic? Oh Lord, why are you just coming? The topic is that as a single parent, you of course have kids, and then you have a new partner, and suddenly your partner after marriage does not like your children and cannot tolerate them. What would you do? The ages of the kids, Kenneth, at that time, they were like 12, 10, 8. They were not like grown. They were in their primary school. No. They were in their, they were not that, you were in their secondary school. Because I recall that she did say to me that it was when they got into university that they all now started, like, it was an escapist thing for them. Going to college was what made them, they were not that young, I'm sorry. They were in their secondary school ages. Best Born says the woman is just selfish. Does she have, I don't know what she has, but that's what she did. That's what she did, and that's just what I'm saying. What would you do if you are, let's assume you remarried. I don't know what your status, but you remarried, and suddenly the new woman just can't tolerate your children, and is making life miserable for you. In this case, the man was always coming to the woman's house. She was a third wife, and he would come Friday to Monday morning. So between those times, No, the kids were not unruly. They were very good kids. I don't know why the man just did that. He just could not tolerate them. He could not tolerate. He just didn't want to see them or hear their voices. No, they weren't unruly kids. Damilola says, "Hi, Dami, how are you?" Well, she says it's a tough call, but she will stand by her children. Period. Thank you, Damilola, for your contribution. Tunde Obadino says the woman was living in a cocoon land. The man didn't like her at all. As the saying goes, you love me, you love my dogs. I would think so too. But in this case, that's what he did. And that's how she reacted. There would never be any bond between the children, the locked up ones, and the new kids. You know the irony of life, Tunde. Can you believe that the 3 kids were trained by these 3 girls? Can you believe it? One of those girls is a citizen. She was born abroad. So she moved abroad a long time ago. And by the time those kids now grew up and they needed to come abroad, this girl filed for 2 of them. That is the irony of the whole thing. The 3 girls were not bitter. I have never seen... In fact, that's one lesson that I learned from those girls. They were not bitter. I don't know why or how they understood what their mother did. They said she did that, but we are not bitter. And those 3 kids... In fact, when the man died, I remember when that man died, all these 3 girls still attended his funeral and they performed like he was their father. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Ojo Olatunde says, face your children. Okay. Kuyoro says, good afternoon, Kuyoro Kehinde Oluwaseun K Square. Thank you for joining me. You say in that case, the woman need to back out of the relationship. I'm saying this is a woman that has not... You see, it's a very funny situation. This is someone that has not had a man, a steady man in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And suddenly she has something. Back out? I don't know. But that's the situation. That's the reality. She hasn't had anybody in years. And suddenly she had this man. So Chike says he will stick with his children and let him or her go. Yeah, they were there before this partner came. They were there before this partner came, but it's what it is. The woman locked them up and just to make this man happy. Ironically, like I said, those 3 girls were the ones who eventually even ended up taking care of those 3 boys. They didn't take it out on them. They didn't act in any funny way. There is a lesson to learn from those girls. Forgiveness, love, unconditionally. I doubt even if I do it, will be able to do it. You lock me up because of a man, I probably will hold it against you forever and ever. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, please let us continue this chat in on Facebook and everywhere that this would appear, that is going to be posted. Best Born says, I'm a single dad. I had a daughter as a teenager. I've never been married, and if I do, my girl has to be through with school and independent. That's an option. So you would rather prefer that your girl is out of the house. You see, that's an option. Instead of marrying at a time that there is probably going to be a clash with the girl and this person, he would rather let the girl be out of school, be on her own, so that whatever woman is coming would have the least of contact with them, and there will be the least of rivalry. That's an option there. And Johnny Shegun says there are 2 issues here. Was the emergency father aware of the responsibilities of looking after the... No, this woman was a lecturer. She's a lecturer on campus. I mean, she ended up as a professor. She was a doctor there. So I don't think it was a function of responsibility. It just... what came to my mind was that maybe he was having feelings for those girls. Maybe he was having sexual feelings towards them, and he did not want to abuse them or touch them. So the only other way, that's what my mind told me. It's not like anybody confirmed that to me, or the girl said that the man would try to rape or to touch any of them. Nobody said that to me. But I was just thinking that maybe he had sexual feelings towards the girls and he did not want to exhibit that. So that was why he acted the way he did. And then the second point you made was that, did the love-struck mom make the children a priority in picking? Well, I don't think at the point that she picked that partner, the kids were a priority. Remember I said that she had been by herself for a long time. She was just sleeping with one of the junior staff in the department. That one would slip into her office and have a quickie. So she practically had nothing going on in her life. And that was the first man that, in years had the semblance of an affair, of someone showing her that she was desired. So maybe that was why she took that decision. She let her emotions or her want or her personal feelings or whatever take precedence over whatever it was she felt for the children. Kenneth says, if the love outweighs everything, let her relocate the kids and be caring for them. Well, that's an option too, but okay, but in Nigeria, where were you going to relocate them to? They were all living in Nigeria, so she probably would have to send them where her parents, her sisters, when it wasn't as if she had a whole house to herself. So it was just something that, she did for whatever reasons or whatever excuse she had for doing it. I thank you all once again for joining me today. I will be back on Saturday by the special grace of God at Nigerian time 1 p.m. I apologize for coming fairly late today. I actually went to start broadcasting on D Israel instead of broadcasting on my wall, my personal wall, doing Ilori wall, the Isola Ilori's wall. My apologies for coming late. I want us to continue this conversation as we usually do via comments on my wall. I oh, by the way, I am so sorry, and I sympathize with the whole of Nigeria. What's the word we use when somebody dies? On the demise of Stephen Keshi. We thank Stephen Keshi on behalf of Nigerians. We thank Stephen Keshi for service to fatherland, and we ask that the Lord would accept his soul. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Thank you all for joining me today. Please join me again on Saturday for another interesting topic. Like I always say, if you have anything you would want me to discuss or bring out in the open, please feel very free to contact me via inbox. We'll discuss it. We'll talk about it. And if your story is something that I believe that people can share from or off, I'll be more than glad to throw it out. Like I always say, I am not shy to discuss anything. I'm not afraid to discuss any topic. There's nothing that is happening on the face of the earth that I can't talk about. I believe that I'm mature. I believe everybody is mature. And there are issues that people really, really are going through and suffering from, and they would like that to hear from others concerning them. When you solve somebody's problem, when you solve your problem, you probably are solving somebody else's. So when we do these things, they may seem like it's nothing, but at the end of the day, it's something, because while you're at it, while you're talking about it, other people are going through the experiences and they are learning off of you. There may be people that may not be able to speak out, may not be able to come up and say, this is my situation. But as you are talking about your situation, and as people are commenting and stating views and things like that, they are tapping from saying. I receive many messages, complimentary messages, that you would wonder. The people who actually send me messages and comments after this podcast usually are like 1,000,001, much more than the people who join. So which tells me that people are watching even if they are not talking, or people are actually like rewatching. You can always watch this even after this podcast, after I get off live, and people are watching and they are following. Please feel free to drop your comments. Feel free to critique me. I am not a professional. I keep saying this to everybody. It's just something I'm doing because I like it. It's something I write because I like it. I talk because I like it. And I do these things because I'm real. I just say my mind and I move on. And I find that people are receiving, they are being blessed from what I do. They receive from what I do. And I find that gratifying. So if there is anything or in any way that you think I can improve on what I am doing, which is this, please feel very free to critique me. I don't care if it's negative or positive criticism. I can live with it. My skin is tough. I'm not an egg. Don't hedge around with me. Don't try to make anything sound. Don't be diplomatic with me. Just come out straight. You were a piece of shit. You didn't do that right. You were stupid there. I can take it in. It's me. It's D. Don't worry. Once again, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you today, as always. And God bless you all. Thank you, and bye-bye.